So the biggest question for me was spiral or master program? Which one was I going to choose? So after some research, I picked both. I realized that my daughter could use both. And we do English all day. We study literature, we do the language portion of it, the reading comprehension, grammar, spelling, English, 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 English all day long. I mean, even our history is English. We're reading the book. Why not do more than one math program? And so when I was doing my research and looking online and reading about all the different programs, one is first you have to find the level of your kid, right? But maybe your child is at multiple levels in math, in different parts of math. So would a spiral program work really well because it just kind of comes back to things that you had learned before? If you do a mastery program, what if you choose a book that's too high, and then what do you do with all the other stuff that they are missing? And so with that, I decided, well, why do I have to choose? Why not just pick both? And in fact, we have 3 math curricula that we are going through this year. And we do one on the side, and the other 2 are core. And so the other 2 we do every single day. Well, every single school day, which is 5 days a week for us. And so what I did was I chose Saxon Math for the Spiral program, and I chose the Math UC for the Mastery program. And I put Morgan in, we had started with, in the summer, when she was done with school, we did summer school together, she and I. And so in the summer, I started with Saxon 3. Just to do some recap, just to see, really it was kind of for me to see where she was because I haven't taught her before. And so I kind of needed to see what she had already learned in the 3rd grade, what she knew or remembered from the 3rd grade, and then what we needed to fill in little gaps or anything that she had forgotten. Because I know the teacher covered everything. I didn't know if Morgan had remembered it. So we got Math 3. It is different from Math 5-4. And in fact, when we switched from 3 to 5-4, my daughter immediately liked 5-4 better, the layout. And I can talk about a few reasons why that is. But they are very similar in that they're a spiral. The Math 5-4 picks right up where 3 ended. It goes back quite a way. There's maybe the first 20 lessons are recap. And so there isn't anything new, which is a bit of a confidence builder. There is not a lot that's new, which is a bit of a confidence builder. So, but I didn't finish 3 because Morgan started to get, I think, a little bored with it in a way, or perhaps a little frustrated. That is when I did my more research and decided that because she liked Saxon Math and she liked 3, but seemed to be getting a little bit annoyed or bored with it. So I thought, well, maybe it's kind of slow for her. Maybe I need to pick it up because she's going into the 4th grade. Maybe she needs 5-4. So I did the test. You can print it out. You can print the Saxon test of like, where's your kid? And we did that and she passed. So she needed to go to 5-4. So I bought that. But then I thought, but I know she's got a few more gaps, that I'm not sure that we can just really hone in, just stop and pause for a while and cover those things and then move on. So what if we did both? And so I looked up Math UC and I really, really like the idea of it. A lot of reviews were, it's very clean looking, which strangely, without me telling my daughter, she mentioned that. She said, I like the paper. I like the feel of it, and I like the look of it. It's not wordy. It's here's the concept, practice the concept, and you practice that concept until you're done. So because I really wanted to get speedier with addition and subtraction. She knows it, but I just really wanted to get speedy because I found that in 5-4 or at the end of 3, she was still kind of bogged down by having to remember the concepts that she had known. And so, yeah, some of it we just have to memorize. But I needed to make sure that she had the conceptual part down as well. So when I went through Math UC, I kind of gauged her and where she was. And so I just thought, you know what, we're just going to start with Alpha and we're going to knock it out. We are going to get through Alpha in a month. So I've got Morgan, she's doing, I think, maybe 3 or 4 lessons a day because when you do a lesson, there are maybe 9, I think 8 or 9 worksheets in her book. And each one, the first couple are, here was the lesson, and then several after that are, here's the lesson and all the lessons before. So in that regard, it doesn't just stop and not remind you of what you've learned. So in that regard, there is a little bit of necessary spiraling. But the core of each chapter is the new concept, and she's just knocking it out. But she's getting faster with her addition and subtraction, which is exactly what I meant to use this book for. And she likes it so much that we are just going to continue. So when she's done with alpha, we're going to get beta, and then, I don't know my Greek alphabet. What is it? Gamma something. But so we're just going to keep going. And then what I would like to do is get her to the point where we're at the same level with Saxon as we are with Math UC. That's a little tricky though, because Math UC, because it does block concepts, I think they don't do certain like fractions are at a certain time, and then that'll be later, I think in 6th grade or whatever. So you kind of do a block, like chunks, to then get to where Saxon has completely covered. And that's okay with me, because we're doing both at the same time. And that would be, if Morgan didn't want to do Saxon and she only wanted to do Math UC, that would be fine with me as well. I think it would only affect probably state testing, because there would be some concepts that she just wouldn't have had yet. I don't care. That doesn't bother me at all. Testing, I'm in North Dakota, and testing is not a requirement. We're going to do it anyway. There's a block that you check that you give to the superintendent of the school. Do you or do you not intend to test your child? And I chose to check the block no, because I can, but I actually do intend to test Morgan. She's asked to be tested. She doesn't mind, and I don't disapprove of testing at all. I've always found it to be helpful. If the test is helpful and it's done right, then yeah, you can figure out where you are and maybe where you want to be. So that's where we are with math. But what's the third one, you say? The third one is a bit different. And I haven't seen a lot of people use this. There are a few YouTube videos out there of homeschool moms who have used this curriculum before. And the general kind of opinion is that it's a little childish, the story behind it. After a while, as the child grows up, it'll take you all the way into university math. And it's Life of Fred. So if you have heard of Life of Fred, we kind of like Fred. He's just adorable. He's a little doll, he has a doll, and he's a 5-year-old who is a university professor at Kittens University. And so it's a cute concept if they're in kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. But that concept sticks around, and it tells a story in chapter format. So you learn math by reading it in chapter format. I like that idea. And we don't do it every day, but when we sit down, sometimes we'll have Friday like math all day. We call it a mathathon, and we don't do anything but math that day. And then another day, maybe the next Friday we'll do a readathon where we don't do anything but read. And then the next Friday we'll do a Frenchathon, français tous les jours, toute la journée, French all day. And so when we have a mathathon, I pull out the Life of Fred books. And we like to read about him, and we really do learn some interesting concepts that she just hadn't had yet, and they're higher order kind of concepts that she will pick up in high school even. And the author, Stanley Schmidt, he does a really good job of presenting it so that the child is not aware that they're learning. And so we like to do that. It's just an adorable story. The chapters, there's a whole ton of these books. There's 19 chapters per book, and each one is labeled. The first one is apples, the next one is butterflies, so it goes A, B, C, D, all the way up to kidneys, I think. Kidneys, mineshaft, liver. Mineshaft is the last one for fifth graders, I think. And then after that, you get into, instead of the cute titles, it actually is math. It's a half algebra or something like that. But we like these. They're in kind of interesting story format, and they're short. They're maybe four or 5 pages to read, and the story continues along throughout the book. The story continues, and each book just picks up where it left off with another type of problem that Fred is going through. And so it's nice to be able to read about math, because Fred learns it in his, he uses it in his daily troubles. And so it's kind of, the question, why am I doing this? Why am I bothering to learn this? Life of Fred explains why you need to know that math. And that is something that I lacked in my own education when I was my daughter's age, and it frustrated the heck out of me. I don't know why is this rounding and then figuring out averages when I could just figure out the actual answer. I couldn't figure out why I needed the average then. And so this is, I know, right? I guess maybe people will think I'm silly, but children think that way. That's fair. And so the Life of Fred explains that. So between the three of them, I feel like we're in a really good spot. We're having a wonderful time doing math. So to recap, we do Saxon 5-4, and then every day. And then in the late morning, when I'm starting to make lunch, get things ready, we have a quiet study time, a quiet whatever time. Morgan can do anything she wants that is in her quiet study folder. And so she sits at the table, and we put on a little jazz music real low, and the cat comes over and lays down next to her, and she just sits there and she practices her math, and it's the Math You See that's in there. And it really bumps up her confidence that she can get through those concepts. And so I may actually keep this. Nobody's really talked about doing it this way, where you have you have different math curriculum, and you do one at level, and then you do another just below level. And honestly, that is a confidence booster, because instead of doing, I've got homework to do, or I've got this I need to do, no, you're just reinforcing at a lower level of they're able to knock out that math really quickly. And I find that her spirits have just, they weren't bad to begin with, but her confidence has really improved, and her enthusiasm, she already had it, is really high. And so I want to find ways to keep it like that, because it's just very exciting to see her grow, especially in math. And that's where we are. So let me know what you're doing and the things that the math that's working for you. I'd be really interested in knowing, or if you have any questions about you want me to go in any more depth about what we're doing there and why, I'm happy to explain. But I will continue to update on our progress. I can't imagine us changing curriculum. We are going to do this the rest of the year. And the only thing we'll change is upgrading the book. So from going to alpha to beta, and then continue on. I believe we could pretty easily get through all the way up through 4th grade math with Math You See at the same time as finishing 5-4 in the 4th grade. So I believe that when summer comes around in 2024, we will be finished with Saxon 5-4 and right on par, finishing with Math You See at the 4th grade level. That's the plan anyway. I'm sticking to it.